Hey guys, welcome to the Me and My Maverick YouTube channel. So I recently purchased a 2022 Ford Maverick. That Maverick was on order for exactly 1 year from order date to the date the dealership received it. But I wanted to do some videos about it. I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube about Mavericks and things people have done with them and how they use them, but everybody's got a little bit different twist than the next guy. So next guy or gal, and so I wanted to just talk about why I bought a Maverick, and then sort of how we plan on using it in our household. So 2022 Maverick, this is the XLT Luxury Edition, all-wheel drive with the 2-liter turbo, and I went with that configuration because we wanted something that one got good gas mileage, but two, needed something that we could drive on the interstate. We plan on going on several vacations over the next couple of years. And we just needed something that we felt comfortable with and driving that was also sort of economical to drive. So that's why we added the all-wheel drive. And of course, when you do that with the Maverick, currently you have to get the 2-liter EcoBoost engine in the truck. So that's sort of how we ended up with that. We did not go with the 4K tow package. I just don't tow anything. I've owned a couple of trucks over my driving days, and just never have had a need to tow. So we didn't go with that, but of course you can still tow with the version. You just don't have the 4K tow package. So we added a few other things to it. Really wanted a sunroof. Added that. Of course, that's an extra $1,000. Did go with the Copilot 360, and like I said earlier, the luxury edition. So it's equipped pretty nicely. I will tell you that while it has some nice options, it's not like driving a Ford Explorer. So that my wife has a 2019 Ford Explorer, and it's also an XLT edition, and it's just a much nicer vehicle inside than the Maverick. But the Maverick is acceptable, and it is comfortable to drive. So this past weekend we took it on a small trip here in Indiana to go see my dad, and that was about 200 miles round trip. And it did great driving. It was comfortable on the interstate. No concerns about being run over by anybody or anything like that. While it is a compact truck, it does sit up higher than a sedan, and it's got plenty of pep to pass and all those kind of things. So the other part of it is now this is a truck it's got less than 500 miles on it still, and averaged 31.1 miles a gallon on the highway. This is the total trip. So we had stopped at some stores, stopped and had lunch, spent some time on the interstate, spent some time on secondary roads, and averaged 31.1 miles a gallon. I purposely set the cruise control to only go at the most 5 mile an hour over the speed limit, but and most of the time that's about how fast I drive anyway. So yeah, I was very pleased with that. The truck's not, as they say, quote, broke in yet, and it's not had an oil change. And my experience with new vehicles has been that gas mileage does increase after you change that first oil change, especially when you add full synthetic oil to it. So that'll be what I'll be doing to the Maverick, and I would expect that gas mileage probably to go up a little bit. So I ended up trading in. I had a 2003 Ford Ranger, and I had a 2010 Ford Fusion. So I was lucky enough to get a few pictures to compare the Ranger versus the Maverick. So you can see here how they sit side by side. The Maverick has much larger tires. Width-wise, it's maybe just a hair wider, but interior-wise, it feels like you have a lot more room than you did in the Ranger. The height of the bed is quite a bit different. I don't know that the bed is that much higher on the Maverick. It's just the tires are obviously very much larger, and it's just the way that it sits. Nose to tail, the old Ranger was slightly longer, but I think I looked at these specs once, and I think it was only 2 or 3 inches, something like that. But yeah, so it fits in. It fits in the garage nicely. I'd actually sort of looked at buying a new Ford Ranger before the Maverick was announced, and the Ranger that I wanted would not have fit in our garage with everything else that's in our garage. So ended up when they announced the Maverick, really started following it. You know, I've probably watched hundreds of YouTube videos of people talking about their Mavericks and how they've used them, and that's what we ended up with. So I wanted to put the build sheet up here and sort of give you an idea of how much it cost and the options that we added to it, so you can see those options there and get a pretty good idea of, you know, what we added to the base XLT model. So, like I said earlier, 2-liter EcoBoost, all-wheel drive, Copilot 360, sunroof, moonroof, whatever you want to call it, and then a few other options that we had added to it. So I'm pretty pleased with this build. You know, now that I've had it for a couple of weeks, I don't know that there's anything I would have done differently, to be honest. I like the options that we added to it, and it was a little more expensive than I was wanting to spend, but we did get some other discounts from Ford. They did honor the original quote price, which I was very pleased with. You know, a lot of dealerships are marking up right now and adding other fees or whatever to it. Our Ford dealership did not do that. And actually, when we got ready to go through the business office, found out that we were eligible for a $750 rebate from Ford, and so that was taken off as well. So you know, the out-the-door price on the truck did very well. We did add a 100,000-mile warranty to it, and of course that increased the price a little bit as well. But the out-the-door price I was very pleased with. Like I said, I did trade in the older Maverick and the Fusion. Didn't get quite what I was hoping to get out of them, but you know, at this point, with, you know, the horror stories of how much people are having to pay just to get out the door, I felt like we did really good. So the one other interesting thing is they had a used Maverick with 13,000 miles. It was also an XLT luxury edition, no moonroof, and they were asking $37,000 out the door for that truck. And you can see the price there of what I paid for this truck. So there's a lot of markup on used Mavericks. You know, and I was a little concerned about getting a 22 when the 23 models will be coming out soon, but I plan on keeping this long term, and in the long run that won't be a big deal, right? I'll get the miles out of it and I'll get the use out of it. So I did take a video. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to get to go to the lot before they'd prepped it or anything. This is literally right after it came off the truck, and did a walk around, just sort of comparing the new versus the old, and you know, some similarities in size, but a lot of differences in a lot of other ways. So yeah, over the next few months, weeks, months, years, who knows how long, I'll have some other videos coming up. So stay tuned to the channel, and we'll see what those do. Some of them might be helpful to you, some of them may not be. But we plan on traveling. We'll take some video of traveling with them as well, and we'll put those up on the channel and sort of walk through those with you. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more of me and my Maverick.